I want wizard.
Bum, ba, bum, ba, bum, bum, bum.
I want light wizard.
Bum, ba, bum, ba, bum, ba,
This
bum,
week, Andrew from Dice Commando. Outcast Haven podcast starts now. We have Andrew on, so let's talk Destiny and Renewed Hope. They have a whole new spoiler season coming out right now. Spoilers. You had a pretty awesome card yesterday. It'll be 2 days ago when this airs. Let's give us a little insight on the card and what you think of it.
I still don't know what I think of it. Yeah, so we had Hexagore, the Death Hydra, which is the Shadow Flail.
Hell of a name.
So I mean, it's a great card. It's beautiful art on the card. I mean, I think that's pretty much par for the course so far, at least. But I don't know what to make of it yet because it's kind of a push, right? So the whole thing of what it does is it basically balance negates your oh shoot, can't remember what it's called right now, but it's your death mark.
Yeah.
Your death.
blood debt.
Blood debt. Yeah, thank you. Sorry. It negates your blood debt, right? So basically if you blood debt out, then it balances that out. And then, the new Shadow Brute hero, she can basically negate that. So if everything works out and all the stars align, you take 0, and it's pretty scary. But there's a lot of moving parts to that. So we'll have to see how that, as I said, I don't really know where it falls yet because we don't have all the pieces yet. So,
yeah. I like it. I think it's cool. I think it's like a cool balance of it stops them from being too aggro. Because like if you try to swing with it turn 1, you've got 1, maybe 2 blood debts in your banished zone. It's like, okay, you're taking 4 damage. Like you're not going to swing with it early. So it's a little bit of a balance where people have a chance to get their footing a little bit before it seems like Stevia is going to do her thing. What's Levia?
It's Levia.
Levia.
I like Levia, to be honest. That makes sense to me. But we'll call it whatever we want. We'll change it.
Call it Stevia. But she seems like she's gonna be super aggro. So something that slows her down a little bit.
Yeah, it's interesting because as I'm sure you guys have seen, the Brute, they've kind of changed the Brute discard mechanic a little bit, where you draw then discard. So we were having a conversation today on our Discord about is opt now a thing for Brute? How can you control that? And we'll have to see where that, because most of Brute 6 drops. I mean, we saw one today that was a 7 drop, but 7 attack. But most of Brute 6s are 1 pitch, and then you can't pay for the 6s. So to have a full, I don't know, it's a very interesting. I like I said, I just think we can't quite wrap our head around what it's going to look like yet. But I think we can for sure say she's high risk, high reward, right? I think that one's clear.
Absolutely.
That's Brute in a nutshell, right? Like Brute kind of has that funky, clunky way about it, where if the stars align, you can blow somebody out, and if the stars don't align, then you can just lose because somebody hits the right thing in your hand when they're randomly discarding you. But it is weird how Rhinar is very much as the math is weird in Rhinar. I think the fact that you can kind of sculpt your hand a little bit, where like if I'm playing Rhinar and I have one card that I need to block something, and I have a card that has a 4 attack, but I don't need it for pitch value, I just block with it to guarantee it's out of my hand and it's not going to get hit off of a pitch. Or I use the 1/4 card in my hand that's a blue. That's the card that I pitch to pay for the thing. So I know I have what's left to get the Intimidates off Rhinar. But to your point with her, I think the challenge will be setting up to make sure, because nothing's going to feel worse than, right? Like Brute math is very simple. If they can hit the non-6 damage, they will hit the non-6 damage when randomly discarding you. So if you have a 6 in hand and you draw a 4, they're absolutely unequivocally going to pick that 4 when they randomly discard you.
Yeah. One thing that I do like about this weapon and the precedent sets is that I love the fact that we're going to be able to side different weapons for different matchups. The fact that they're giving us options for weapons, that is super exciting to me. That like Runeblade is getting just a pretty wide array of weapons that you can be like, oh, I'm going into Bravo, I'm taking that scythe because I'm not going to let him, whatever those things are, the tome from Arsenal or the blessing, like that's not happening. You're not gaining life that way. Or, you know, like just being able to like sort of toolbox your pre-build out a little bit. Super interesting. I love that part of the game. And the fact that they're expounding upon that is really exciting.
So the thing that amazes me the most right now with the spoilers was not so much the spoilers, but how, and this is coming from a non-lore guy, is as soon as they released that article, how they tied the two shadow heroes together immediately in this. This is a damn card game that's fun. And I'm like, I've never read any story or cared about any lore in a card game. And here I am reading like this dissertation that I'm like, holy buckets, this is long, but it really grabbed me in. And I'm like, this is gruesome. This is disgusting. This is amazing in a card game to have that type of lore in such a young game, because Dane and Blake are big into lore and I never have been, but I'm like, that is really cool. And it makes me, you get that attachment to the characters. And I'm like, she's really gruesome. She's a little gross for me. Levi is a little beyond what I can handle. But the Runeblade character, just controlling the beast, I mean, he's pretty awesome. Chain, he's off the chain. I'm going to say he's off the chain.
Andrew, sorry, we keep cutting you off. You were going to say something.
No problem. The question on Chain is, are we sure that's how you say it? I don't know.
Chane. I like Chane.
Sean. His name's Sean.
Sean.
It's just a weird way to pronounce. It's a weird spelling, but it's just Sean.
If you're at the supper club, you go, oh, you mean Chan. Yeah, Chan, great. Okay.
Yeah, he's from Northern Ireland too. I don't know, right? Dude, yeah. So that was spoiled. He was spoiled today, right? Like several hours before we're shooting this, and he is. Whoa, he looks good.
Yeah.
Just banishing the top card of your deck. Okay, yeah, I'll do that for sure. Oh.
Yeah. Well, and now we're seeing more and more of these like Shadow Runeblade cards and Shadow cards that say they can be played from the banish area, from the banish. So like all of a sudden now, right, like you're getting this opportunity to like feed the banish, and then it'll be such a cool. And then there's a cool balance, right? Because like I think these characters, if they weren't tuned correctly, could be completely busted. But like something as simple as LSS just kind of nailing adding blood debt means that you can't just kind of banish freely because there's a punish. Like you get punished big time if you get lazy and just leave a bunch of stuff. All of a sudden you're looking over and you're like, wait, oh God, there's 6 cards in there with blood debt. Like I didn't, like at the end of my turn, I took 6 damage. This is problematic. And especially into certain matchups, like you're going to have to play it different, because in some matchups you might just go super aggro and you don't really, maybe you just don't care about blood debt at all. But in other matchups, like in Wizard, do you really want to like gift Wizard some free life? Like, hey, let me help you kill me.
Oh, you have six blood debts in your banish zone. Cool. You're now in OTK range. I'm going to kill you. Like, that was fun.
That helps just a little bit. Yeah. His what I really like about his character, more than what I think we've seen in any other character, is his young character versus his older character are so different, because both of these, they have the hunger to consume the souls. I mean, that story about her, just like her hunger was to eat them, to consume souls more and more and more. And if you look at the Chan or Chain or Shani,
I think it's probably safe to assume it's Chain, but I love the fact that it might be Chani.
It could be Kahane, his
like Cthulhu, like that.
Yes. He just looks like he's been through some shit when you get to his adulthood. You know what I mean? It's like,
you think like, so? You don't think his young version looks like he's been through some shit? I think his young version looks pretty terrible
he's still enjoying it. He's still enjoying it in his youth. He's like, this is great. I got people shackled all around, hanging from the rafters. And then his older one's like, God,
he's like, yes, I love this. And then he's older,
and the older guy's
like,
just getting tired of it. He's like, just kill me now. Okay, I'm done with this.
I gotta go find more people to shackle. No,
I think that whole part is just absolutely amazing to me. Just this, I never thought in a card game that would intrigue me as much as it has in this game.
Yeah, I'll be honest. The Rune Blade interests me, and the Shadow Brute does not. I really hope the Rune Blade goes more like dark. Like I'm fine with, like we talked about this in our like chat today, but I don't mind gruesome. I just don't like the pulsating meat blobs, bloody meat blobs, like art. That's like more gross than gruesome. I don't mind gruesome, like the mangle art, the snag art, like that's cool. Like that's really, I think that's cool art. But I don't want.
That's the difference between the massacre and mangle. I love mangle. Massacre doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah.
So it's that exact contrast. And there's a lot of people like that. Some people like the massacre more, the real, where I like the mangle.
Yeah. So I'm really hoping like the blade, what was it? Galaxy. Galaxy. I love it.
Yeah, I saw that once after I turned 18. I was allowed. Sorry.
But like I like that it's just dark. Like it looks like darkness is like the theme, not viscera. So that's cool. I'd be down if Chain was like a darkness themed Rune Blade and not like I don't know, bloody visceral Rune Blade. But yeah, that's just me. But I like Chain. I think Chain's cool.
I mean, I think actually one of the things that interests me about Chain is that the weapon that he's holding in his adult doesn't appear to be either of the weapons at first glance that they revealed, which is really interesting, because like if you look at, and maybe the Galaxy Blade or whatever
it's partitioned and it's like a sword that breaks apart.
Yeah, right, that breaks into the thing. I don't know, like you see those things all the time in different
anime
shows or whatever,
sort.
but yeah, it's always anime that does that has the big extravagant like sword that turns into a chain somehow, and you're like, I don't know how you're packing all that chain in that sword. Like it, yeah, you're like, how did that sword stretch out to be like 40 feet long? Like this, like I feel like there's something about that design.
Dude, it's magic.
Feels a little flawed.
No,
but
do you remember?
It's magic. Like
that's the part that I saw that made me think. So when I messaged you guys earlier, and I was like, how cool would it be? Because Rune Blade's gotten all of these just vaguely sharp purple pointy weapons that don't really have like, they don't look like they were made by a smith. They look like they're some form of inorganic creation, but it's just like purple sharp stuff. I was like, how cool would it be if Chain is his hero abilities like bring 4 weapons? Because in the lore it talked a little bit about his blade like reforming or like making a different shape or whatever it was before she like cut the soul apart from Levia.
Actually, if you you know what, if you look at it, like I actually just read Galaxy Black, the name of the sword is Galaxy Black. It actually says the meteoric iron seems as though it should be heavy, but it is light in your hands, moving fluidly as the segments of blades separate and form a chain whip.
So
that's his weapon.
Done.
Yeah. Look at that. We solved this thing. We're so good.
Right.
Like,
turns out, if
found
you
it
read
here second after
it's
yourself. We're just reading the card.
Yeah. I like it a lot. I like that. Like the art of Chain is great. I don't really play Rune Blade or enjoy the archetype personally playing it, but like the art in it with Chain looks really cool, especially the adult one where he has the runes kind of like on his skin that are like glowing. I think the art just looks really good on that.
So I'm curious, as we go through cards, like, does everybody have a favorite card yet? And one was, while we're talking, we just had another one pop up and release.
Well, yeah, I was like, we're shooting at exactly the wrong time.
Oh,
or the best time. They just keep popping.
All right, what's this one? Let's look. Live reaction. Howl from Beyond, is that it? No, we already got that one.
Yep, that's what I'm seeing.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Oh no, that one's I've already seen that one.
Oh, why do they have to double X everything up? It's messing with my brain.
Jason can't pronounce stuff spelled normally, guys.
Right.
Yeah.
Dimensional Crossroads. Go again. Whenever you play an attack action card or a non-attack action card from the banished zone, if you haven't played another card of that type this turn, deal 1 arcane damage to target hero. If you lose life during your turn, destroy dimensional crossroads.
So if you take the blood debt, see ya.
Right.
And is that what's the rarity on that? Oh, it's an aura.
Yep, it's a 2-cost.
Oh yeah,
pitch,
okay.
3 block.
And it's a majestic, or
it is a majestic.
Okay, so there's no range there. Okay.
Right, so it'll only be that. So I think that's pretty good for Runeblade when you're going to be playing attack actions, non-attack actions, that you should be able to trigger that pretty easily and pop an arcane damage. I think that's the most exciting part about this Runeblade, is the fact that it deals multiple arcane damage at one time, which is a whole new ball game for Runeblade.
Yeah, you guys brought up the scythe before. Like, I think the scythe is really freaking good.
I think it's got
it's a 1 for 2 trade, right? At a very minimum.
I mean, the downside is like they could just take the 1, or like let one of the damage to like block out the scythe and take the 1 arcane, because they weren't planning on getting life anyways. I feel like unless life gain becomes a more regular part of the game, except for like, being able to side it into Bravo or something that may depend a little more heavily on life gain. But I think it's super solid. Like, the more weapons, pun intended, the more weapons you give me, the happier I'm going to be. I think it's moral of the story. Where are you looking at the spoiler? Why can't I find it?
If you just go to the Discord.
Oh, okay.
So back to my original question. We'll start around the horn. I don't know who's on what side. Go top left, Dane. Who's on top left? Have that person start with their favorite so far.
Blake.
Oh man, see, that's the thing, is like, so far nothing has been like my jam. Like, I really enjoy the card art so far, and I've been really interested by everything coming out, but like, nothing from the card perspective like has me really excited for a specific thing. If I'm just thinking in terms of like if I were to just go based purely on art, it would, I really thought that Ebb and Fold, the shadow equipment head, was really cool art. Like, that's a really pretty art. The only card that like really sparked any interest in me, just because I'm somebody who does enjoy playing Ranger, is the Memorial Ground instant, to be able to keep cycling back your arrows that you want to be able to dominate. But yeah, other than that, right? Like, that's the one that got me slightly interested. But even then, it feels like it's one of those, it feeds deeper into Ranger just being all in, like, go 100 miles an hour strategy, because you're basically just going, I'm going to trade this instant in my hand on your turn to make sure I dominate an arrow next turn. But that also means that I'm probably going to eat some damage here. So I sure hope I can put some back on you. Andrew, over to you. Favorite so far?
Yeah, I mean, I actually agree. Well, because he said it, I'll say the militia card. That's a pretty cool card. I mean, I'm on the generics. I actually wanted to speak to the graveyard card kind of in response. Like, I know that it was billed. It's basically because Kai Bay over from FabDB, he put this spoiler out, I think early last week. He was like, we've got a card Ranger players are really gonna love. And then it hit, and I was like, oh, well, I mean, that's technically true. I do love it, but that's not what I thought it was going to be.
It's not a Ranger card guaranteed Ranger support in the set.
I made the joke on the Facebook. I kind of felt like he invited me over to watch a movie, and then like we actually watched the movie, right? So, but I mean, putting that one, putting Blake's card into context, like, I think the new Brute likes it, because all these are like draw a card if it's 6. Like, I think Brute likes it. I think it works well for Dash, even in her current state, with being able to not now run all Myconologist cards. You can like have a little flexibility there. I'm sure we're going to see more classes that it matters to. I don't know. So yeah, I don't know that. I mean, you're right, 100%. It's a Ranger card. I can get 4 Redliners or 4 Remorseless or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. The militia card though, that one looks pretty sweet. I kind of like that one.
I think militia is going to be a card that's going to be really annoying in ninja builds, like as a potential generic finisher on like a string of attacks for a ninja, especially like Ira. Like, it's going to be obnoxious in Ira, especially if they throw it second at you.
That's silly.
I didn't
have
think
like
about
they
that.
don't even
That's where
not
my
even
first,
giving it go
my
again.
first thought. Yeah, it just was like, okay,
they don't even
cool.
need to give it go again. They're just like Kadachi for 1, Surging Militia for 6. Now every card you block with is going to buff it by 1, so you're basically going to have to block with 3 cards to not take damage.
Yeah,
I didn't think about that. That's really good observation. That's true. 100%.
It's going in Benji for show.
Yeah, it's a great finisher, like, because if you're especially late game, like that's a card I feel like you pitch early, because if you can find it late game when people are having to kind of get in that weird Kadachi lock situation where they're like, well, I can't take every Kadachi. They block the second Kadachi, and then you give them that for 5, then they have like 2 cards, they still take a damage, right?
Yep.
Because
unless they have a defense
2
reaction, but yeah.
Yeah, 2 3-block cards, you still take 1. So you get in a weird spot where you're starting to put people's hands in like a weird spot where you're able to kind of manipulate your opponent's hand late game, and it's really it's like a really big struggle to kind of fight through that over and over again in a ninja deck where they're kind of like killing you with Kadachis.
Yeah, that could. I think that card's fantastic. I'm really excited for it.
And to your point, they probably already burned their equipment on their Kadachi blocks, right? So
Yep. Dane.
Yeah, I don't know how no one, dude. Celestial Cataclysm. That card is gorgeous. I know I stole it right out from under you. That card is gorgeous. It's dope. We haven't seen tons of like the life gain details yet, or the soul details yet. But being able to like throw cards in your soul, I'm assuming that it's something that builds up over the course of the game, not something you start with. I've seen people like kind of guessing what the soul is if it's like a separate stack of cards you start. I think it's something that has to build up. Like there's going to be parts
just like
in the game
that,
yeah, just like Blood Debt, exactly. So I think that card though, just being free, being a yellow, and
yellow is
yellow.
Yeah,
yes.
That's huge.
Insane.
It's so stupid.
Like it's going to be good. I'm excited. I think that's going to be a chase card for sure if you're running light at all.
The fact that it's yellow almost makes me think that it's going to be a long time, if ever, before we get a light ninja, because that with Kadachis is disgusting. It's busted.
I mean,
I'll just early game being able to cycle it into deck while getting 2 Kadachis off of it is just so silly.
I've got a question, but Jason, you need to say your card.
Okay, so I'm torn on 2. So I always thought when this set comes out, when we saw the dark and light, that I definitely want to be a dark player, but I'm 100% want to be a light player. I want to be the good guy in this chapter. I want to be the good guy. I want to come in
the hero. You can be our hero, baby.
So I have 2 cards. One we just explained. Love the art. Probably my favorite art of anything that's been so far. The 2 pitch by far is what makes this card absolutely amazing. There's times when you have a light and strike and you wish it was a 2 pitch. You know what I mean? So having that, absolutely amazing. My favorite card, because of a wizard player, is Tome of Divinity. There's a chance to draw 3 cards for 4 cost. And the fact that I'm guessing it's going to be easy to put cards into your soul, I feel like this is going to be easy. Now you put together cash-ins, coppers, whatever that could play into this. I just think that there's a lot of room to get a huge hand and play out a lot of cards. And what we're seeing is a lot of ways to get go again with the shadows. So we've already seen these sneaky ways to get go agains. So if they make a wizard, which, man, I'm hoping there's a light wizard. I really, really
that leads into my question. So save your thoughts on that.
Okay. So I like Tome of Divinity just because the draw 3, I think, is going to be good. I think there's going to be go again easier in this deck, or it's going to reward a good deck builder, which most games do. I feel this set will really reward a good deck builder,
especially early on, for sure.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Tome of Divinity.
I think good deck builders are going to just be wrecking people in the first pre-release. Just you're done.
Yeah, I think the thing that this set is actually going to do is a lot of games do this early on. Like we played, Dragon Ball and a lot of games when you play them in their early iterations, what typically happens is when they do the base mechanics, there's not a lot of, they don't go crazy with the cycling, the drawing, being able to do lots of interruptive things. And I think what's interesting is in Fab, like everybody gets excited about like things like cash in, right? Like cash in, like wizards. I get giddy when I'm playing wizard and I pitch a card and I find a tome. And I'm like, yeah, draw 2, because I just traded 1 card for 2 and it feels amazing. And that tells you like how little like true cycling we do in this game in terms of like card draw and card hand cycling. And I think that this set, with the banish kind of being an extension of your hand for like a shadow player, or the soul being an extension of your resource curve for like a light player, adds a huge depth where all of a sudden, before, a lot of times, right, like you wouldn't get hit with an enlightened strike if you knew you could get someone to 1 card because they had to pitch a card for it. Well, guess what you don't have to do for Celestial Cataclysm? You don't have to have anything but 3 cards in your soul. You could get someone down to 1 card in hand now, and they can go, cool, I'll banish 3 cards from my soul. 7, go again. And it's like, oh God, like that's so massive in this game, where now you can no longer just rest on this. If I can just take all their cards, I get a free turn. Because if they have Celestial Cataclysm in their arsenal, you're going to take a 7. Like that's a massive swing when everything blocks for 3 in this game or less.
But once again, if there's any kind of little weapons with go-agains or anything remotely similar to a Kodachi, it's just going to wreck people, especially when you get down to late game. It basically says, right now as a wizard, I know when I can win, right? You get your setup, you know the health, you know your hand. I can win this hand. Doesn't matter what you have, I'm just going to win. This card does that in an attack form. Because you can get them, you can strip hand with other ones. It just, when you get these odd numbers, they do such a good job. That 7 is so debilitating versus a 6. And the 8 doesn't matter, but the 7, God, the 7 sucks. Because now it's like, I take 1 so I can save my other 2 cards. Now, if you have 2 4,
the thing is, a 7 makes you want to not spend 2 cards to still take damage, which I think is the trap a lot of times. Like the 7 makes you, oh, is that what kid just brought you in a
Mason? Yeah, brought me a beer. Yeah, it's good kid.
Mason, he's got his license. Mason, I want one.
He wants one. Drive him one over.
Bring me one over here.
That's the last one he just said.
Andrew will take one too.
Yeah,
Andrew, can you do it? Oregon, right? Andrew, is that where you're at?
Oregon. Yep. No. So my question, I know that we've kind of like maybe hit on it just amongst ourselves. But Andrew, what do you think is going to be spoiled? Like, any ideas what you think's coming out the last 2 classes? Like any inclinations, things you think are inevitable, anything like that?
I will say I was not disappointed. That's a strong word, right? But I was surprised that they didn't alternate between dark light. They went dark. That surprised me because it doesn't matter to them, but it makes it harder for us to put into context what's going on, right? And maybe that's intentional. As far as predictions, I actually agree. I think there's going to be a light wizard. I think that's going to be a thing. And now that we've seen both the shadow. Now we've seen both the shadow. I think that's all but confirmed that they're going to be light. I mean, if it's wizard or not, but I think the easy one's warrior. So I think it's probably going to be a light warrior and a light wizard. I think I was kind of hoping for a light ranger, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Okay.
That's my hot take.
Yeah. Anyone else have like pressing thoughts? Jason, go for it.
I agree. Light wizard. I think light wizard just in lore in general and other areas outside of Fab, like a lot of times the good wizard is what turns the tides for battles against evil. So you have a very evil Runeblade and a very evil Lavia Brute. I mean, beyond a normal boot, Reiner's like, dude, you're just a little too aggressive for me. All right. You need to calm down.
Chill.
I mean, that's how aggressive she is. Okay.
You're here. I need you to be here.
Yeah.
Reiner saying that.
I don't think a light warrior or a light guardian from a lore perspective is enough to beat the shadow, especially because they team up pretty much at the end of the lore. They're a team. So you need a wizard in there to bring this down right now. Need a light wizard. So that's why I think the other one, I would lean Guardian, just because we saw the Jordan Nelson Fussell short guy, that everybody's calling him. Guardian. The little Jordan.
I think he changed his profile picture just
for that. So we got the little Jordan like Guardian.
Humor.
It's possible. I would only say that because Dorinthia's too obviously light.
It would be the same border on the card even, right?
Right.
Because that's the light border.
So
I mean,
and then just the fact that Guardian doesn't have a second character yet. Would they give a third before a second? I don't know. So I don't know if that part matters. I think Light Wizard makes too much sense from a lore perspective alone.
Yeah, just for clarification, I double checked. Jordan did change his profile picture to the little dwarf guy.
That's so
we got the light Guardian. His name is Jordan.
Yeah.
Or Jordan.
So I think, Blake, you know what? I'm gonna let you go first. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Drop zone.
Okay. I mean, I definitely lean into the idea that I think that the most obvious two options feel like Warrior or Guardian. Like that feels like the light of choice. I always joke that sometimes I think that they designed Ranger and they're like, okay, this is going to be the class that we're going to kind of mess with them the whole time. Anybody who plays Ranger, we're just going to constantly mess with them. Cause like every time they give Ranger something, they're like, it's good. Oh, it blocks for 2. You're like, oh God, come on. It's like, hey, this headpiece is amazing. Also, it has blade break. It's like, oh, Jesus, come on, man. So it's like I just don't think they're going to give us some epic light Ranger only because that would feel too it would feel good, right? Like it would feel like so good to get a light Ranger. And they apparently they love Warrior because Warrior is just insane. But I actually would love to see a light Guardian, like another Guardian character that played different from Bravo, because Bravo is like very control. And it's cool to see like the way that the different characters, even in the same classes, do have different feels to them. Like they've done a good job, even with the young heroes, right? Like Dorinthia versus Kasai is very different. Dorinthia can be very aggro, but Kasai is very mid-range. Like she's not aggro because of the 2 attack not getting like stacked on the Dawn Blade counter stuff. She's very much a mid-range deck. Brute, like Rhinar, as much as Rhinar is like RNG, he can be very controlling, and then can by just manipulating your hand in a way that messes with your game plan. KO is just chaos, like he's 100% chaos. So it would be cool to see a Guardian who can take advantage of some of like the big scary Guardian attacks, but not do it on like a setup way, like do a little bit like have an easier shot at playing some of those without the dominate. So it's not about the dominate, like setting up towering Titan dominate win. Yeah, it's just like, hey, here's a 7, that has a crush effect. You're gonna have to block with 2 cards.
Again.
Like or go again. You can get rid of a soul to play a Guardian card for 2 less cost, but it deals 2 less damage. So you're just like more consistently hitting like I don't know.
I think you're onto something though. Wait a second. I just had an epiphany while you guys are talking. You put ideas into my mind. I picture this. I mentioned this Facebook page as like a buddy cop film coming in to beat the shadows. The 2 walking in, the wizard. So we got probably a female wizard. Dude, if you had like the light arrow bow that shoots like the good ray of light arrows. Come on, you can't let Lavia get close to you. She's going to tear the shit out of you. You got to shoot her from afar.
Sounds so much like Lavia.
You got to take her down because otherwise she's just going to eat you. That's what she does.
All right, we can't call her Lavia anymore.
We can't call her Lavia. That one doesn't work. That one doesn't work for me.
What did you say, Jason, about the card that spoiled like between? Like you're like,
the rectal card.
Just immediately, Jason's brain is just like, "Oh, what naughty word does this look like?"
Warmonger's rectum. We got Warmonger's rectum.
Warmonger's rectum.
One?
Rectum damn near killed him.
God.
I know it says recital. That's not fun. It's rectal, and it looks like a butthole, so it makes perfect sense.
Elastic.
No, I think that the Eben, is it Eben Hood? Evan Helm. The thing that looks like the
Evan Fold.
The thing that looks like the Destiny helmet. If you ever played Destiny on Xbox,
Xbox.
it just looks like you're a warlock helmet. But no, so I think that blocking for being able to break and block 2 arcane, like unless the Rune Blade gets a ton of like arcane support that deals like 2 to 3 to 4 arcane damage, I think there's got to be Wizard coming then, right? Because it doesn't stop Rune Chance really. Not that we've seen a ton of Rune Chance out of Rune Blade so far, but it doesn't block for that. And I think it makes sense to have the 2 arcane classes in the same set, just for draftability purposes. So I think
that's a good point.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Otherwise, they got to include Null Rune for both sets, and that seems kind of clunky. But I think so I think that we're going to see a Wizard. Does anyone think that we're getting new classes? I think that we're going to get 4 of the old classes.
No, not anymore.
Yeah.
My hot take on that. The Blitz packs are going to be all new classes in those Blitz packs.
Okay.
I'm probably 100% wrong, but I'm going with it right now, and I'll sound like a genius. If not, we'll come back in 3 weeks, just cut this whole part out, Dane, and I never said it, okay?
No, I like keeping... When you say dumb shit, that's like staying in 100%.
So I don't think so because of draft, right? So if they follow the model where you have in that case, your Blitz guys would be rares. I mean, I guess that's the Crucible model, so they don't have to follow it, right? But I don't think so because of draft. I think that the heroes we're seeing are the heroes we have.
So I think we're gonna get a mix of the Welcome to Wraith and the Arcane heroes. So I think it's probably gonna be a 2-2 split if I had to guess, just because that's my brain likes that split instead of like three of
3 and 1.
Right. Yeah. So I think that we're gonna get like a Wizard and then probably Guardian if I had to guess. Just the 2 Welcome to Wraith heroes, the 2 like arcane heavy, arcane rising heroes, and then the next kingdoms, the next set, we'll get the other 2, whether that's in Light and Shadow again or 2 new talents. That whole mechanic was revealed.
Well,
whatever it ends up being.
It'll be 2 new talents, sure. I'm on board with that.
I think that would be too slow. It'd be too much of a slow burn to do a full series as just 2 new talents.
Yeah. I think that the thing about giving Guardian and having it be Guardian Wizard too leaves you with only one of the 8 classes, or like the main 8 classes in Ranger that only has 1 hero. Like you've really opened up the different classes if you gave Guardian one, because Guardian, like now that we have a Rune Blade, right? Guardian, Ranger, and Wizard are the only 3 classes that don't have 2 heroes or more. So now every other class has gotten a secondary hero. Some of them have gotten 3, and you were left.
I'd really love to see another ninja, though. I'd be so happy if it was ninja. I love ninja.
Nobody wants that.
I know nobody wants it. And you can hate me, but I want ninja support. That's all I want.
But that's why I'm saying the standalone Blitz boxes can be anything, because they're standalone. They don't have to fit draft. They don't have to fit sealed. They just have to be Blitz boxes, cheap entry point, and you could put anything in there. So you could do anything with those cards. You could put another hero in there that will play off the next set. Not saying they would ever do something like that. I'm just saying there's options there.
Counterpoint though.
The issue with that is, what do you do to new players?
Yeah, new players that buy a starter deck and they don't have any incentive to buy packs because their class isn't supported in the set that was released with it. That seems kind of lame.
It's like, no, I think the issue with saying like Blitz decks could be anything, it really comes down to the fact that like that's the starter decks are the best entry point for new players. And especially in this game where, in some games they don't do a great job with starters being super playable, or you have to buy 2. In this game, they've done a good job of making the starters a playable deck, so you can actually buy it and play it. So that's kind of the model that they seem to want to work with, is making it very new player friendly. And starter decks do that really well because they allow someone to come to the shop, say, hey, that game looks really cool. And you go, yeah, if you go up front and just pick whatever hero you think looks the coolest, or hey, let me explain to you what they are.
I concede. I can see.
Nope, I got more. I got more. We're gonna kick this horse.
So I hear what you're saying. There could be a unique hero. I just don't know that LSS would do that because that would require then everybody to buy the starters whether they wanted them or not. And I don't know if that's an LSS style move.
Yeah. So Jason, basically what he's saying is that would require LSS to be stupid. And they don't seem to be stupid, so your idea probably won't happen.
I mean, I don't think it's stupid. It requires.
No,
I mean,
I don't think so either.
Makes people here throw $24,000 down for a single piece of cardboard. They're going to go buy a starter deck.
Dude, with the lore, respect LSS for going so damn gruesome. So I was actually going to hit on this earlier until we got just the conversation continued on. But Andrew, when you brought up like the lore, I love the fact that they went dark because I think that it's really cool that they are placing a ton of emphasis on how gruesome and evil this dark side is, because it's really building up a lot of tension. And whether it's deliberate, I think it is deliberate probably, but just building up that tension to what is going to counteract this, because you've got just this brute just literally tearing and devouring things apart. You've got this chain dude who doesn't seem like a great guy. I mean, you've just we haven't seen any of his lore yet, but I'm sure it's not awesome. Like he's not babysitting for friends'
dinner,
kids.
Feel him out a little bit, see how he is, see if the family likes him.
It's pronounced Chane.
It's Chane.
Sean.
I think the key too is like the separation between, like, they've really pushed at, to your point, Dane, like that really dark element of the gruesomeness, because like Rhinar, a lot of the Rhinar and the brute art is gruesome, but when you read like Rhinar's backstory, it's like he's savage kind of out of necessity. Like that's how he survives in a savage land. There's no stories of him just like deciding like, oh, hey, there's things like, hey, this dude is talking to me, I'm just going to shove my fist like into his body, rip his heart out, and then crush it in my hand. Like there's no just like pure raw like animal in him that does those things out of just savagery. It's more like he was made that way because of like the way he was raised, as left alone in the savage land. He is savage out of necessity to survive.
Just because I'm forever gonna be devil's advocate to both you and Jason. Just my role in life. I feel like
it's true.
We're going with Lavia. Levia. I feel like there was actually conscious decision there. She did not want to be controlled, and this dude came up to her like, submit to me, and she was like, hey, this is my thing, I don't get controlled by people, so you gotta die now, because I'm not for this life.
Right.
So
killing someone like that makes it not as gruesome. The like crushing of organs and then eating of the organs.
Yeah, the first guy she ate was purely because she wanted to eat the soul.
Yeah,
it had nothing to do with anything.
The guy with the amulet?
No. Was it whoever the first guy she came upon? I don't know if he had the amulet or not, but she is literally what I got from the lore, and my mind works differently, and I'm an idiot sometimes. But what I got from the lore was that she hungered for souls. And
she's got a bloodlust for sure.
Right. Yeah. That she needs. What do they call it? See, we need to. I need to remember these terms.
Yeah, she feeds on the physical body and power. Yep.
Yeah.
Dude, that whole scene of her fighting in Behel. I gotta remember this stuff. I gotta make flashcards or something.
I feel like what we actually need is like every time like they bring the lore out, I think somebody from LSS should just do a quick video with all the weird words and names to give us a quick pronunciation, because
Sasha.
that's the thing that about Sasha, like
Sasha, if you're watching this, you sent us spoilers, so I'm not feeling like I can ask you for a whole ton. Jason, we'll get to it.
It's literally called Soul Harvest. That's her specialization, is Soul Harvest.
Well, she eats that soul at the end, but I feel like I can't ask you for anything right now, but it would be awesome to get a pronunciation guide. I know it exists. I think Dead Summer Art mentioned that he had gotten one or something, Kale, when we were somewhere. I don't know, but that would be super cool.
With a New Zealand accent, we're gonna be saying Dick and Lavia.
I need it written out.
What if it's like Key and Peele and it's C. Haney? C. Haney, are you in the room?
Hey, Beth.
Kane, you here?
Hey, Kane, you here? All right.
Done messed up, Chichane.
Chichane. No, I would love a pronunciation guide, but no, I think that's fair that she's got more of like that bloodlust animalist. She's for sure animalistic. So that's not, I'm not debating that, but
I'm actually curious, Andrew, what do you think? So we've obviously talked about it a bunch. What do you think about like the depth of like gore and gruesome that they seem to have gone so far with like the first character, like that they've really delved into so far in Monarch?
Yeah, I'll be honest, I didn't really think about that side of it until about 7 minutes ago or however long we've been talking about it. I'm sorry, I don't have an answer for you. I don't mind that. I mean, they've had their art's been pretty dark even from WTR, right?
Yeah.
So like, slogism and stuff like that are just like these dark swirls of stuff, right? So I don't think it's any secret that they mind going into that side of things. So
yeah, I mean, I think that there's something to be said for like slogism or regurgitating slog, or even like a snag, and like a 4-page thesis on what it would look and sound like to consume flesh. It was pretty. It got pretty visceral, and it was really. I didn't hate it. It was very enjoyable read. I actually was going to say too, I like that they are balancing so well, giving us details and information and making it enjoyable to consume, but pun intended, but not like just bogging us down with unnecessary stuff. Like it's you can tell it's not written like a book. Like we're not reading J.R.R. Tolkien here. Like they're not leaving us with a long story, but yeah, it's like it's giving us fun facts and really cool detail quickly, but still well written enough to be consumable really easily, which is neat. I like that like their process is good.
Yeah, I thought it was amazingly written, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
Kept me intrigued to see what happened, and the fact that they, like I said, it was cool that they kind of team up and walk out, and now we need a strong ass wizard to come knock their asses down.
No.
Yeah. Well, and to your point earlier where I was saying I thought they would alternate. I mean, it makes sense now that we've seen the story. It makes sense now why they did them back to back, so they wouldn't have a name floating out there we didn't have a card for. I mean, that tactically it makes sense now at this point. So yeah, I'll capitulate that one for sure.
So do you think we'll start seeing? So will we have another week of dark, week of light? I mean, where do you guys think it will start? Because you have to have at least a week for generics, right? You're going to want to, they're mixing them in, but I would imagine there'll be a healthy pool of generics like usual.
For Crucible, they didn't release every card, did they? Did we get every card? We didn't in Crucible.
80%.
Yeah, I assumed that it was like 75, 80%, something like that. So I don't think we're going to get every card. Maybe they leave some generics out, but it's been 4 days for Levia?
Dude, it feels like 3 weeks already. Jeez.
Yeah, it really does. Yeah. The amount of, while we're talking, we just had 2 more pop out.
Yeah.
Bonding Demigon, a Shadow Runeblade action, and Seeds of Agony. So the tree picture that we've seen for a while is another Shadow Runeblade action. So 2 more. These are both common cards, so they should be all 3 colors. So 2 more cards popped up just while we're in. Like Andrew said before, we are in the prime time of spoilers being released while we record this. We are in the height of spoiler release time right this second.
Dude, Bounding Demigon's really good.
Yeah.
I think.
Read it. Go ahead.
If you've played a non-attack, so it's a red pit 0 cost with 3 attack, 3 block for all you block lovers out there. If you've played a non-attack action card this turn, you may play this card from your banish zone. If you do, it gains +1. It of course has blood debt. So
it's a free 4.
That seems pretty good.
Yeah,
it's a free 4. That's it. You just got a 6-card hand because this is in your blood debt. You have an arsenal. You have 4 cards in hand, and if there's there is a way
really good.
Yeah,
it's a common.
Yeah,
that's dope.
What was the one that gave go?
Seeds of Agony.
What that gave a go again?
Oh, Seeds of Agony. So you may play Seeds of Agony from your banished zone. The next attack action card with cost 1 or less you play this turn gains deal 1 arcane damage to target hero. Go again. Oh, that just has go again. Doesn't give go again.
Yeah, but so now
still,
you're
it's a free as well.
Right, so you got one arcane coming. If you have any rune chance, if there's rune chance generation in this, I don't know if there will. Well, there has to be because you can put other regular rune blade cards in to generate rune chance, and then the rune chance hit. This deals one arcane. Dude, then the card attacks.
Dimensional Crossroads too.
Yeah, the one that gives go again into create their into oh crap. I was gonna say rune chant, but what's the rune?
Read the runes.
Thank you. Like that's like the fundamental one, and that one now has go again effectively into this card. Oh my Christ!
You go Howl Beyond, which gives +3. I mean, there's so much.
Yeah,
Runeblade is amazing.
There's a ton of stuff, but there's so much depth, and we've seen just a tiny bit of this card pool right now. And then I don't know if you guys have, I haven't even started looking as a player that doesn't play Runeblade. Like my mind isn't even going all these Runeblade cards that mix in. I don't know if yours is, Dane, if you're a Runeblade player, but if they have a wizard card or if they have a guardian card like comes up, because I don't play either one of these heroes so far, and I'm still super intrigued because they're doing all kinds of cool new actions. But once they come up with a hero, which the next two I will know one of them because I play a lot of the other heroes, my mind will start going crazy with existing cards.
Yeah. And it also just there's an article on there now that is for Chain and
Fab TCG or just like another article.
Fab TCG has it, and actually at the bottom of it shows his blitz deck.
Oh
well, it's that's huge.
Blitz deck?
It shows that Chain is going to be a blitz deck.
Oh well, okay.
Yeah, like I said, guys, it's going to be one of these heroes in the blitz deck. I don't know why nobody listens.
I mean, it's keep in mind when we're shooting this, it's like what 2 p.m. Friday there, right? So they're getting ready to call it a week. So we're gonna get dumped on like seriously here, and then
God,
which is good. I mean,
power at any cost.
Yeah.
Wow,
that's crazy.
Runeblade. Wow, this and then I mean, what was the one we saw yesterday, like 18 hours ago, where it just attacks for 3 and deals 2 arcane? Like that seems pretty okay to me.
Yep, that's the arcane dealing Runeblade card that
I have a perma smile on my face just looking at this right now.
You don't even play Runeblade,
dude. But then look at on this is I like that this is coming out while we're doing.
I'm gonna say this now. I play Runeblade and Ninja are like my 2 classes. I could dabble in Dash too, but I'm still holding out for Light. I want to know what the Light heroes are because the Dark doesn't really do a whole lot for me. I love the Light aesthetic so far, even with Celestial Cataclysm and the Tome of Fanciness. Like I love that aesthetic. So I'm still holding out for Light heroes.
But here's the thing. Okay, so true. The one we just read, Bounding Demagon, is a Shadow Runeblade. But some of the really cool Runeblade stuff we've seen is not Shadow specific. So in theory, you could use it with your boy.
Yeah.
Which I think has been one of my concerns going through this is like, we're like, okay, everything's forward or everything's backward compatible, but not forward compatible. Or wait, no, I said that the other way around.
Chain can use all
the other way
around,
but
yeah,
you understand what I'm saying, right?
Yep.
So that's interesting that Runeblade seems to have a little more backwards love.
It does. It just
there is quite a bit of brute stuff too that's backwards, right? That Reinhardt could run.
Yeah, there's some brute. There was a couple brute cards. Yes, absolutely. I think there was 2 or 3. But then you have I'm sure somebody's already on this, and Dane, you should be on it right now. They actually have the writing that has been decoded many times, but they have the writing on this page underneath. I guess, is that the Eclipse card? Is that what they're calling it? The planet of bodies with the souls and the light.
So that's not new. That's from like one of the original Monarch releases, like the Dance on the Grave of the Light thing.
Oh, is that what it is below it?
Oh no, I don't know if that's what you're talking about, but like that decryption or whatever took place. Okay, that translation took place. They just have it
on the Chain power at any cost page with Chain.
I've got that. I'll translate that. I've got that like
translator.
Code. Yeah.
Ooh. I will say if anybody's listening and likes the art, I'll tell you what. You can click if you go to the Chains page, you can click at the bottom and it has his full art of both his young and adult hero, and the full arts look absolutely amazing. Like the art without like all the card on top, it's stunning.
Dane, you just got extra editing in. You're gonna need to pop that up when Blake talks about it because it is absolutely amazing.
Oh, what is it?
The full arts of
heroes.
him. Yep.
I love how we're all making super great TV right now, just like staring at our computer screens and
You know what? I know what I was just thinking. I was just thinking, God, we could have capitalized on this and just live streamed every night. Just live stream for like 4 hours. Just talk about spoilers as they come out.
So you gotta monetize it, dude. Let people give you tips.
Like you couldn't see it in the card.
Yeah.
He's got writing all over his body.
Yeah.
On the full art, and you can actually zoom in and now see it.
Is that the hero page?
Yep, on the hero page. And we don't need to talk about that much more, but it's for anybody listening, go to Fab TCG, click on Power at Any Cost. When you're in Power at Any Cost, it's going to go through, it's going to highlight some of his cards, some of the good cards to use. They show his token that he can use. You go down to the bottom. It says National Galaxy.
I'm going to go through the effort to just pop it up right now.
You're going to pop them up?
I'm just going to pop it up. I got to make it, but we're going to do it.
Yeah. I mean, I think the thing that this continues to show us about LSS is like more than any other game I've ever played, they do things with so much thought and care in terms of even the way they're releasing things. Like a lot of games kind of just like vomit out releases where they give you batches of cards at a time and they're like, here's a bunch of cards, see you later. And LSS, like I don't think it's maybe thought of enough the amount of work that they're putting in to, instead of themselves on their own Facebook page just kind of throw spoilers out for everybody and have like a scheduled release, to take the time to schedule out, right, like content creators, to get them to people, to line up the schedules of everyone, to make sure they're being released at a good time, to release the articles on their website so that way as soon as we see Levia, like, hey, now here's the story that goes with her. We're going to do that after we release her and some of her cards. Then we're going to give you the story. And then we're going to go and we have to give you some background on Chain. If we have to release him first. And the amount of thought and energy that is going into them doing these releases is so far above what a lot of people, or what a lot of companies do. What's that?
She's up on the podcast right now, or he, Chane. I don't know. I don't want to be
Chane.
It's just Chain. We're just
Chain.
It's just
it's a he. Yeah, it's Chain.
We're going Chain.
But I don't think enough enough emphasis is given to the effort that they're putting to make spoiler season such a special and like spectacular thing every day.
Yeah, actually, so last night, my spoiler, I was about 2 hours late because I didn't want to drop it at US. Like, I didn't want to drop at 5 p.m. US because that's like dinner time. And, I wanted to be a little later, right, to maximize basically views. Yeah, I was being selfish. And Sasha contacted me. He's like, dude, your spoiler's not out yet. And I was like, yeah, my bad. I'm 2 hours late. It actually posted a couple minutes ago. But they're on top of it. They're doing a great job over there. I mean, they're on top of it.
Yeah.
I'll just put the young chain up as well, because that art's pretty dope too. I do like the older Chain or the adult Chain more, but the young Chain's pretty cool.
Yeah, and he's got like on his hero page, he's got the normal like hero story and everything going on, which is really cool. Like they're doing the normal like, hey, here's a quick little overview of his about, and then they did his story, which is really fun. Because it's always cool to get some backstory on the characters. But yeah, I mean I'm just blown away like every day more and more by the fact that there's so much energy and attention to detail put into spoiler season, that they're not just it would be easy, right, to just give a bunch of content creator stuff, be like, hey, just kind of release it this week sometime, or to give a batch to one person and then just be like, hey, you get to release these, do whatever with them, and then kind of doing it a week at a time, just kind of throwing stuff out, because like people are just going to be excited to see the cards. Like they don't have to do this much work to make it such an experience, to have it be happening, because like I think everybody is kind of constantly looking in the evenings here in the States, right? We're like, okay, usually around, 5 to 7 o'clock, like somewhere in that window, something's coming out. So everyone's just kind of anxiously awaiting like the next spoiler, like when is it happening? And then, until midnight, sometimes after, I will randomly get a message and be like, oh God, guys, look, there's a new one. And it's the fact that that's like, they're doing it creates a really cool experience from the player side of things.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm
going to segue something off that, Blake, and then I have a question for everybody. So my segue is going to be, watch our channel. You're going to see something pop up soon. It's going to be a live stream. It's going to be a week from today. You're going to want to make notification on that, and you're just going to want to make sure you're available when that live stream hits in a week from today.
Yeah.
My second thing is, I know us three personally, Andrew, Blake, Dane, and I are doing 3 pre-releases on pre-release weekend. So I don't know what you're doing, but what are your guys' thoughts or thinking? Because I've come out and I told both of these sons of bitches, because they gave me my 2 losses at the first sealed we all did as a team. I lost 2. Both of them were from Blake and Dane. So I have guaranteed my vengeance on them in Monarch pre-release. I will win one of them, and I'm beating both of their asses. So what thought process will you go through, even if you're not doing a pre-release? What thought process are you going to go through, like gearing up for a pre-release when you don't know the card pool as good as like a WTR or an Arcane?
I mean, I think it's just like, honestly, in this case, it's any other set. You try to know the cards and you figure out the angle. I mean, so for those who watch my channel, if, I know there's some out there who do, others who don't, but if you don't, you should. I actually released a video a couple weeks ago about what I'm going to be looking. Actually, it was probably more than a couple weeks ago, but it was what I'm going to be looking for in a new hero, right? And that was well before all this started. And the primary thing I was going to be looking for was a weapon that did repeatable, consistent, good damage. I mean, I think we've consistently seen over the course, and I get it, the game's changing. I get it. But I think we've consistently seen that the ability to swing every turn without burning cards permanently, is really strong. So that's the first thing I'm going to look for, is like, who am I going to draft for? Who would I mean, sealed, I guess you can't control that, right? But, who would I draft for is the Bravo, the Rhinar, right? Because you have that, I can just pitch 2 of any card that I have in my deck and it can swing at the very least. So that's what I'll probably be looking for. Probably won't be looking much for like a Ranger or something like that by that same argument. I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair.
Anybody else? I have an opinion on it for new, but curious on your guys's.
I'm just gonna study the card pool and grab whatever. I'm gonna listen for Jason's little voice, his feminine voice, drifting over the room, saying what he's playing, and I'm just gonna be like, all right, what counters that? Because I'm gonna crush his soul.
And then I'm gonna there's gonna be blood going out.
See, and in sealed, I personally I love go wide strategies. I think go wide and defend is like my favorite way to play. Like my favorite character to play in Welcome to Raid Sealed is Katsu, because it's just Kadachi and some attack, and I know I can do that with 2 cards basically every turn. If I build the deck, if I gather up enough things, I can do that, and then I can kind of give it a little ninja pile action, and any 3 blocks other than those are just getting stuffed in the deck, and I'm going to make that thing thick. And then on turns where I need to block, I'm just going to overblock and protect myself. And then I'm going to try and just, bleed you out and bleed your hand with 1s and 2s, because people don't have armor. Like, I think that's the thing too, is in sealed, like, people don't typically have a lot of armor block. Like when you're fighting through a gauntlet of like pre-constructed decks, you have to keep in mind that you're going to run into Warrior or Bravo, and you're going to have to fight through like, a dozen armor block in the game. Whereas in sealed, it's like sometimes you look over and it's like you got 1, you got the iron rot legs, cool, sounds good, this is great, works for me. And like, you just know they have no armor block packed on top of hands are limited. People are playing a lot of generics, and I think that's the other thing is Like for me, I'm always looking for 3 damage and more cards. Like those are the dream cards, because those are the cards that like really get people in sealed, because there's a ton of 2-block cards. People are running tons of generics to fill their decks out, and lots of generics have 2 blocks. So if you can make them block a lot of stuff with these little 2-block cards, sometimes just going like 7 with a random big attack, or 8 or 6 or whatever, cost them 3 cards late game versus the normal 2.
So I just want to add 3-block 100% will be my first thing. But what I am going to focus on this for the first weekend is the common card pool. I want to know the common card pool very well to see if there's any sneaky combos that I can find in the common card pool that will combo with each other in either light or dark, and not so much specific heroes. I'm just going to try to see if I can find combos in the common card pool, because you can't bank on majestics and rares because you never know what you get. But the commons, you should be able to hit some of these commons that combo. So I think that absolutely, I want a repeatable weapon, 3-block, and try to find a hidden combo within the light or dark cards.
One word: reaction. Is there a Razor Reflex style card?
Pummel, baby, pummel.
Pummel. Is there a card? Does a card like that exist? That'll be the question.
Ready to take her home?
Big buddy? I am ready to take her home. Thanks for leading us through this, Jason. Andrew, thank you for joining us. It's always a pleasure having you on. Love just picking your brain about stuff, getting that outside perspective, because we can be a little bit of a, what do they call that? The
echo chamber.
Yeah. 100% us. Cool. So
I don't think you guys are an echo chamber at all, actually. Like the man. Well, I don't know what it'll end up being as, but the man down in this corner, he's always counter to these two, and I think you guys do a really good job at that. So actually, I don't think you guys are an echo chamber at all. But
good. Well,
Dane does his best to control.
Yeah, I try.
Dane is chain. He's trying to control to Levias. Like we're just a couple of savage beasts, and Dane's just like, okay, hold on.
Yeah, no, it's fun. You guys keep me young for sure. So it's funny. They're both older than us. Yeah, they're both older than me. No, appreciate everybody joining us for our podcast. Like Jason said, be sure to hit that bell, because we are going to be going live next week with our spoiler. We do have that. Haven't looked at it. We're doing the reveal, but it's going to be super exciting. We're really pumped. I already got a little bit of detail about it, but we're not going to obviously share that. But it's going to be really exciting, so we're excited for it.
But tell them Blake is going with a vow of virginity until next Friday, and it will be revealed to him with everybody else. He will not look at it.
Is that the name of your card, Vow of Virginity?
Vow of Virginity. No. That was Jason's. That was Jason's nickname in high school. So no,
who did you talk to? God,
how do you know that? So be sure to hit that bell so you get those notifications. We're also going live just sort of sporadically with random play testing, but without a doubt, you can always guarantee that we're going to be coming out with a podcast on Fridays and hitting up a live stream Tuesday nights from 9:30 to midnight Central Time, where we're just going to be playing, chatting with whoever's joining us. Might have some guests on and stuff, but that is our staple, so we'll be there for sure. If you want to get those notifications, be sure to subscribe and check out our podcast. You can see basically everywhere that our podcast is in the video. If you're watching, I've got all the logos and stuff floating around for everywhere we are, everywhere except for Pandora, because they still haven't gotten back to me. But everywhere except for that, basically, that runs podcasts, we're there. So before I leave us off here, Andrew, quick plug. What do you got going on? What's new? What's your channel? Let everyone know.
Well, so yeah, come, again, thank you guys for having me. A second time we've been on. I'm hoping for many topics we didn't hit on tonight. So I'd love to be back with you guys after we get through this craziness. So thanks again. And Dane, we got to have you on. I've had these two jokers on. We got to have you on, man.
I'm always the last one. It's cool. I don't take offense to it or take it personally or anything. So it's fine.
Yeah, I'm over at Dice Commando, www.youtube.com/Dice Commando. We cover Flesh and Blood as well as several other games. And, it's just me and whoever I can get to come join me that week. Just talking stuff. Plus we have, gameplay videos and IRL here very shortly once we get done with the COVID, get done with the Rona. So
awesome. Yeah. Like we mentioned, I think the first time we had you on, like Dice Commando was a staple for us as just pleb players. coming into Star Wars Destiny. So longtime fans. So definitely check that out. Really high quality content over there. But yeah, really appreciate having you on, and we will make sure that it's many more times in the future because it's always a pleasure. But appreciate everyone joining us. Peace out.
Doyle rules.